TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here at one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call taking my community back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved. I'm here today at one of our community outreach days with our sound truck. And our sound truck is used for just what you see. We come out to community days, we play loud music, and be able to just have a good time with it and enjoy our community. Our sheriff's office, you get to see us in a little different light. We're not always out there writing tickets or locking people up. We come out to your community day and be a part of your day and help you celebrate your community. And this is just one of the ways that we can do that, was with our sound truck. We're here today in one of our communities. We brought our ice cream truck out. A lot of people like to laugh when I say the sheriff's office owns an ice cream truck, but this is exactly what it's for, is we bring it out to our communities. We give away ice cream. We don't charge for the ice cream. The ice cream is free. And we have partners in our businesses in our community that help pay for the ice cream so that we can give it away for free. And we give it away. We go to schools. This is just one of many events that we bring our ice cream truck to. We go to the school systems. We come out to community days, block parties. We just come out and see you and help you enjoy and celebrate your community. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
buyer in the market? Are you thinking about starting your search to become a homeowner? Is your goal or dream to become a homeowner? Well, you want to stay tuned for this show. So, hello everyone. Welcome to your Real Estate Tea, where we teach you so you can become educated to achieve. I'm Andrea Farley, real estate broker with Maximum One Realtor Partners. On this show, we will be sharing information about what you can do to prepare yourself to purchase a home, and also information on market conditions. So you definitely want to stay tuned. If you know of anyone that's in the market to buy a home or even sell a home, definitely please share this with them. So today I have Judge Parker, who is a broker and lead instructor with TAP Real Estate School. So he will be my co-host for today.
Greetings.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So guys, I wanted to start off by saying that real estate is always a good investment. And so this market has definitely been different than, markets of previous or in the past. And I like to say the name of this real estate market game is highest and best. Now, you may be wondering, how do I get a home? How am I able to win the bid? How am I able to, get financing? We're going to talk about some things that you would want to stay tuned for today. So let's talk about some things, minimizing the competition. Judge, I know you have different thoughts on, this market being highest and best. What do you think about that?
My response would be is highest and best really in your client's best interest, because highest and best can bring about some different scenarios that could compromise the particular, whether it's a buyer or a seller's ability to negotiate. It could be compromised, and things that you want to do in order to win the bid or the offer, if you will, could potentially put your client in a position where they're going to lose a lot more than gain. Yeah. Okay.
So what would cause them to lose more?
Well, here's what happens. Most cases, highest and best, the individuals are going to start taking away certain things, such as appraisal contingencies, financing contingencies, no due diligence periods. So now, property sold as is. So now you are buying a property. One is that it may not appraise. Two is that you may not get the loan. And three is that you can't do an inspection to determine what's wrong with it, if there's anything wrong with it. So that puts you in a position where it compromises the buyer, because now the buyer's got to cover all of those costs. And one thing that's simple, and I mentioned to this before, is that in some other shows I've done, they said removing appraisal contingency from a contract is dangerous. I'm not saying it's not legal. I just found that it's dangerous. Why? Because if you bid on a property at $200,000 as a list price, you bid $220. In your bidding of $220, the process is moving forward. The appraisal has come through at $200. So now the buyer's on the hook for $20,000, because the appraisal was only $200,000 and the bid was $220, which is what was accepted. So now, and if a buyer is getting a 90% conventional loan on that $200,000, then they got to put down another $20,000 down payment along with the $20,000 they have to bring as a part of the difference. So that's $40,000. Then, if the seller's not paying any closing costs, you add another 2.5% to that from a closing cost perspective. So that's another $5,000. So now you got a buyer on the hook for almost $50,000 on a $200,000 property, and only $20,000 is going to benefit them.
Right.
The other 20 is you just paid over it. Now they got another scenario where you got negative equity in the property. So it's, like I said, I didn't say it's not legal. You can do it. It's just dangerous to do that.
Absolutely, and I definitely agree with you on that. Just having an understanding on what will come along with this particular home that you have an interest in, and understanding some of the money that will be involved with that purchase. So if that's something that you are equipped to do, and if that's something that you are perfectly okay with, you know, just understand that you can get in the house, but you may want to pay attention to some of the things that Judge mentioned, like, okay, now your equity. Will you have equity in this home? So those are definitely some things to think about, especially for the ones who may not necessarily be prepared for this market, because I still say it is highest and best. And although it may not be always favorable for you, that's just where the market is. And so let's just talk about some things that to help you minimize your competition, things that you should be aware of what's going on. As we all know that this has been a seller's market for some time now. And so you definitely want to work with a real estate professional that understands the market and understands what's going on, so that you can have expectations and proper expectations set about, you know, going through the process. Studies have shown, and market stats have shown, that about 4% of buyers have actually stopped looking for a home. They have stopped the process of purchasing because the way this market is dictating, you know, it's not favorable for them right now. But we're here to get you equipped, to get you some understanding, and to give you a boost. You know, if you're thinking about it, don't be scared. You know, let's talk about it. Let's come up with some, look at some options and come up with a plan. So the first thing I want to say is, or maybe that's not the first thing, have your stuff in order. Mm-hmm. It is not good for you to put in an offer on a home and you haven't submitted all documents, you haven't disclosed everything to your lender, you haven't just done the basic things that's needed. Because believe it or not, guys, these sellers want to sell to people who will be occupying the home, not necessarily an investor. Mm-hmm. A lot of sellers have to buy something else. So they want to make sure that they're solid, that you're a solid buyer. And if you don't have your things in your affairs, your financial affairs in order, it just makes it harder for you. Do you want to expound on that?
Well, you know, what happens a lot of times is that when buyers and sellers are entering into an agreement, say for instance, the seller is selling, the buyer is buying, but the buyer is also a seller on another deal.
Yes.
So a lot of times they're going to do what is called a contingency with a kick out.
Right.
And that contingency meaning that I'm going to buy your house contingent upon me selling my house. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? The buyer that's buying the buyer's property also has to sell their house.
Exactly.
So there's another contingency on that side.
Right.
And guess what? That buyer who's buying the buyer's property is selling their house. They got a contingency. So it's a snowball effect. So if one of those contingencies kicks out and falls apart, mm-hmm. it kills everything.
Right.
Everybody else's deal, unless there are some backups and those things are in place. But you know, it's a process. That's why I tell every homeowner, you shouldn't go with this alone, because there's too many moving parts for you to understand when you don't do this every day. You know, I'm not a mechanic, but I know when my battery is dead because my car won't turn over. So I know the battery is dead. Mm-hmm. Guess what? I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm taking it to a mechanic. So my point is that buyers and sellers both should understand that you sometimes know enough to be considered dangerous to yourself without hiring a professional to help you better understand what you should be doing to ensure that you move the process through smoothly.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree. And so I know that was a lot of buyers, but again, guys, you know, the person selling the home is going to become a buyer as well. And so they want to make sure that you, as the buyer for their property, is going to be solid. And so you don't want to miss your opportunity because, you know, you failed to do some things on your end. So get it in order, guys. And if you have any questions about that, please feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to assist. Also, one of the things that's part of the contract, it is not necessarily required, be prepared to pay earnest money. You know, I know Judge has a story. He's definitely chuckling over there. You know, this shows the seller that you're serious. You know, you don't want to put in an offer and not have earnest money because it won't even be considered. And so, Judge, what would you like to say regarding earnest money?
You know, one thing you have to understand what earnest money is for. And most people don't understand what earnest money is for. Earnest money is considered your promise of performance,
Right.
meaning that you are going to perform according to the contract. And if you don't, then you're subject to lose it. You know, I saw a video some weeks ago that a loan officer was equating earnest money to a layaway. That couldn't be further from the truth. It's not a layaway. You know, with a layaway, you're on the hook. Earnest money, you're not necessarily on the hook because there may be some provisions there that you can rescind the contract with. But that's neither here nor there from the perspective of what it's for. Earnest money is your promise of performance, meaning that the contract has about 4 parts to it. One of it is, in order for it to be a legal binding document under the law, there's 4 elements to a contract: consideration, legal assent, mutual or genuine, legal capacity, and legal purpose. The consideration piece is the undersigned seller promises to sell and the undersigned buyer promises to buy. The assent is that mutual assent, meaning that we've agreed to the terms. And in those terms is earnest money. So therefore, that means that I'm going to give you earnest money, or I'm going to put up earnest money for the purchase, and if I don't follow through, then I'm saying that this is considered liquidated damages for me not following through or for me breaching or some type of default on the buyer's part. The seller side of it is a little bit different. Earnest money is not is not for the seller's benefit, it's for the buyer's benefit. But the seller can benefit from it in the event that the buyer defaults. So I mean, it's just so many. Again, guys, if you're going to buy a property, hire an agent. You know, you wouldn't go to court on a DUI charge or a murder charge by yourself. Hire an agent. Most people, real estate is the biggest purchase they'll ever make in their lifetime.
Right.
And therefore, you need someone there who's knowledgeable to understand all of the moving parts. Because I promise you, what we're talking about today is just really scratching the surface of all the things that are necessary to understand as a part of the purchase of a home. So, but earnest money, again, is not down payment. It can be used for down payment, but it's not considered down payment. It's considered a promise of performance. And if earnest money, if the down payment is not needed at closing and that earnest money that was given is not needed as a part of the closing, it is then refunded back to the buyer because it is the buyer's funds.
Right. Absolutely. Again, so it's not required, but it does show that you're serious about what you're doing, and again, a promise to perform. Okay, so guys, we will take a brief intermission. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss. We will have some more tips for you to become more knowledgeable regarding your home buying journey. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Dynasty. Welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your event live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your talk show, sitcom, showcase, and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers, show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are very exciting times we live in. Traditional TV is all but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is now on the Roku platform with a viewership of 46 million and counting. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and streaming your own show or movie, or coming in as a sponsor or an advertiser, please send your contact information with a short description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you. Hi, my name is Dynasty. Welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your event live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your talk show, sitcom, showcase, and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers, show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are very exciting times we live in. Traditional TV is all but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is now on the Roku platform with a viewership of 46 million and counting. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and streaming your own show or movie, or coming in as a sponsor or an advertiser, please send your contact information with a short description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Your Real Estate Tea, where we teach you so you can become educated to achieve. So we're going to continue our conversation talking about the home buying process and just kind of setting expectations about the market and the conditions of the market. So guys, I know you guys are wanting to purchase a home. The rates are at record lows. I believe the Freddie Mac mortgage rate is about 2.9% for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage and 2.34% for a 15-year fixed rate mortgage.
Still not bad.
So yeah, so the rates are pretty amazing. They have increased, they have gone up slightly, but it's still very, very great rates.
And the rates are right now about half of what they were in 2012, 2013. Yeah. And that's excellent. I mean, you know, at one point in time when people were getting 6% interest rate, I know for me, you know, in '97 when I bought a house, it was like, oh, it got an 8% rate. That was great, 8%.
Right.
Dang, 8% is a far cry from 2% now. It's like, that was unheard of.
Right.
But, you know, those are the times that we're living in. But I think that, you know, the problem with people now in reference to the rates is that there's not a lot of inventory.
Right.
So therefore, those that are able to be successful bidders on properties are winning these bids and getting the properties and then getting the benefit of those rates. But here's something else you consider, though. If you have a house, you like your house, you just might want to sell your house because maybe you're looking at doing something different. You know, now is the time if you want to refinance it. And you can benefit from that low rate as well.
Right.
But I'd still, again, there's some caution there that I always recommend. And let me give an example of that. I have a friend of mine who called me a few weeks ago, and she lives in Colorado. And she was wanting to do some work to her house. You know, she spent $260,000 on her house when she bought it about 8 or 9 years ago. Now the neighborhood, she says, houses like hers is selling for $370,000, $400,000. She said, but you know, they've been remodeled. And I said, okay, so now you're going to look at bringing your house up to that standard.
Right.
Well, I want to do a refi and cash out and get the money and do it. I said, okay, fine, you can do that, but just understand, a cash out refinance is not going to give you the same interest rate as a straight amortized loan without any cash out. You're not extracting any equity. Cash out refinance is going to cost you a little more because you're extracting equity. So now the lender has more risk. So that risk is that they're giving you the value or the equity of the house in order to upfront, but there's no guarantees that you gonna put what you're saying that you're pulling out into the house. So therefore the rate goes up. So 2.9 may end up being 3.4 because of the risk. So you think about all of those. But if you're going to do that, I suggest you do it. If you're going to cash out, refinance your house and cash some money out and do some repairs and or do some renovations, that's great. But here's what you should consider. If you do that, then go ahead and get it done. Have your bids and things of that nature prepared before you do your cash out refi so you know how much money you're going to need.
Right.
Then you go ahead and do the cash out refi, extract the equity out of it, do the repairs that you're wanting to get done, make sure that the loan that you're getting doesn't have a prepayment penalty on it. Because what happens next is that after you get all of the repairs done, say you 6 months down the road, 6 or 8 months down the road, all the repairs are done, the interest rates are still 2.9% or 2.1% or something of that nature, you still have a little money left over from the cash out refinance or refinance cash out. Then now you take the little bit that you have remaining, refinance the loan, pay for it with that equity that you're still holding on to, and now you change your rate again and you reduce your payment again. So I mean, there's ways to do all of this, and people don't look at it from that perspective, but there's ways to get it all done to the point where you can actually benefit from it and maximize the benefit.
Right.
But be sure that you do not spend money on something that's a depreciating asset, a vacation, paying off a car, all of those things. No, you should never ever use your house for that purpose.
Right, and that's excellent. That is some great advice, great tips to put you in a better position. And also you want to consider too the repairs and the renovations that you are making, even when bringing your home up to date, and just having a good understanding of those things that will increase the value, because everything that you do in your home may not have the same benefit for you. So definitely speaking with your real estate professional will be beneficial when you go and start wanting to make certain repairs on your home. Yeah. And so let's also just talk about some financing. So a lot of first-time buyers are in this market now, because of everything going on with COVID, and I've said on many of different shows that it has definitely caused people to reevaluate their needs, and it's pushed people more towards home ownership. And so with this market, it is showing that 59% of the buyers have obtained conventional financing. And even there are some instances where conventional financing does have a lower rate, where typically sometimes the rate has been higher. But there are definitely some benefits to getting conventional. If you put a certain amount of money down, or if you paid your house down, what is it, to 75%? 80%. Private mortgage insurance is no longer going to be something you're going to have to pay. What are your thoughts? Or what do you want to add?
Conventional loan has its benefits. Here's what happens with conventional loan. When a seller sees a buyer coming for a conventional loan, they like it because it's less restrictive. FHA and VA are some of the two most restrictive loans, VA being the most restrictive of all of them.
Right.
Well, the conventional loan, the appraisals are much more liberal. The credit scores are much more liberal. The property condition is much more liberal. The appraisal, if I didn't say that, the appraisal is going to be very liberal. So I mean, so many different moving parts there that are much easier to deal with. And yeah, conventional loans, it's going to run you 100%, 95%, 100%, 95%, or 90%, or 80%. That means that your LTV, loan to value ratios. Well, like any loan, if you're less than 80% LTV, you're going to pay what is called PMI, private mortgage insurance. Now, those pieces are score driven. Based upon your credit score is going to tell you how much private mortgage insurance premiums you're going to pay per month or per year. So those are some score driven pieces. About the only thing with the conventional loans that are as score driven. Now, when you're dealing with FHA is highly score driven and payment history driven. You got to have 18 months of some good payment history. You're going to have 18 months of consistency on the job. You're going to have some reserves in the bank. You're going to have to deal with the fact that FHA loan requires certain things from the seller's perspective and the buyer's perspective. There's one thing in an FHA loan that most people overlook, and they think in removing appraisal contingency is beneficial, but actually it isn't. FHA is kind of the exhibit for that is called a super exhibit, in my opinion. It's super because it supersedes anything. It's called a mandatory clause. And in that mandatory clause, it says that if this property does not appraise for the sales price or more, then therefore the buyer doesn't have to buy it.
Right.
And the buyer can terminate the agreement, and their earnest money is not forfeited. So they get their money back because it doesn't meet FHA guidelines. Now again, FHA is score driven from that, so the higher the person's score is, the less they're going to pay on the insurance. Now FHA insurance is called it's mortgage insurance premium. And FHA doesn't give the loan, FHA just insures the loan. So lenders will issue a loan based upon FHA guidelines, and FHA will insure that loan. And that's how buyers are getting beat out, because of the fact that most sellers don't want to deal with an FHA loan when they can go with a conventional loan and they can bid over, but an FHA person can bid over, but if it doesn't meet the appraisal, FHA says we're not doing it anyway. So
Right.
it takes them completely out. So that's why FHA buyers are being snubbed out. You know, it's what 59% of most of your loans done today are conventional, and the other 41% is between FHA and other. So
Yeah,
you know, and
I
it's
think
it's
FHA was like 26 or
26,
29,
yeah.
something
Yeah.
something around there.
yeah. So and, you know, I heard people refer to FHA as a poor man's loan. FHA is not a poor man's loan. FHA is a good loan for someone to get. Because of the fact that it allows them to only put 3.5% down, where you know most people don't have 20% to put down on a home.
Right.
They just don't. And FHA allows for individuals to get loans. You know, after World War II is when FHA came on the scene, because that was what was happening is that the veterans were coming back, and people
not
coming
able.
back from the war couldn't get loans, and then VA stepped in to do something for veterans as well. So FHA is a great way to get a loan, and once the market changes,
Yes.
you will see that FHA
Right.
loans are good. You know,
Right.
it's really kind of funny, to be honest with you, with that, because when the market crashed in 2008 to 2012, a lot of real estate agents that knew had never done an FHA loan, but they were begging you to show them how to do it because conventional loans were so hard to get. Now it's vice versa.
Right.
Conventional loans are much easier to get, and FHA loans are still easy to get, but sellers don't want to accept them, or they don't want to take them because of the requirements that have.
Right.
You know, and I look at it, I was like, wow, we've come full circle in regards to this. But just as sure as I'm sitting here today, that's going to change again.
Absolutely.
It's going to change again.
Yeah, the market will balance out at some point. It cannot continue to go in upwards. Building materials are going up. Housing prices are going up. So as you can see, interest rates are kind of inching back up, slowly but surely, but that is the way to level the market out. It may not seem like a good thing, but it has to balance out.
Well, it's
It
going to
has
have to. The rates are going to have to change in order to balance out inflation. Because if everybody, you know, they want to say that the building products are going up because of the wildfires in California and things of that nature over this past fall, so the lumber costs have increased. Well, and now they want to blame some other things due to the weather in Texas, the gas prices and things of that nature are going to go up because of that. Well, folks, as long as I've been in this world and understand the things about the market, is that those, in my opinion, are just simply excuses to raise the prices.
It's convenient.
It's very convenient because if you remember when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2004, I think it was, and guess what? What happened to the gas prices? Went through the roof.
Yeah.
Because they said, well, you know, the oil refinery was damaged or something. But that wasn't the only oil refinery in the in the world, but I mean in the country.
You know,
so,
people
I mean, it's-
always look for a way to capitalize.
But inflation
off of
is going to
the
catch us on
situation.
those products.
Yeah.
And the rates are going to have to go up to balance out the inflation. So I look by late spring, early summer, you're going to see an interest rate move.
Yeah.
And it's going to move. And granted, we're still in the pandemic, but I see the interest rate moving a full point by then.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, we definitely want to, continue to provide tips. We do have much more to share with you. I do want to say this. We've said this before. In this seller's market, one other thing that you want to look at is you're approved for a certain amount. You definitely want to look below your budget because that will allow you room for bidding wars. Unfortunately, that's where we are. We're in a bidding war market. And so, again, If you have certain things in place with your financing, with your money, we didn't talk about that because you definitely need to have a substantial amount of money in place for this process. If you have those things on point, definitely look below your budget. Okay, because that allows you room to go up and increase and expand. And I know Judge has mentioned, certain things about the contingencies, certain things about due diligence regarding that. You don't want to set yourself up by excluding those things, and also, at the top of your budget, bidding way over to where you're in a scenario where, okay, would it be considered like upside down on the property? So you definitely want to consider that. Definitely start below your budget so you have some room to expand, especially if this is, this is your time. You have found the house. This is your dream home. You don't want nothing else. You are in love with this house. Let's move about it smart. So, guys, we understand that there's a lot going on in this market, but it can work. It can work. It's possible. And for those who have to wait, hey, a delay is not, that does not mean you won't get your home. It's just maybe now is not necessarily the time for you.
And then the right property is going to come available.
Absolutely.
But what I would encourage you too is that if you find a home that you like and that will fit your needs, don't sleep on it. Because if you sleep on it, you won't sleep in it. Somebody else saw it the day before and they're going to get it.
Right.
So you're going to have to move rather quickly. And I know, people like to think about it and mull over and certain things, but a lot of times you don't have that kind of time.
No.
And if you drag your feet, and I'll get sometimes going, well, it wasn't for me anyway. The right property going to come along for me on the right day. Well, you never know what the right property is if you always delaying a decision.
Right, absolutely.
And the delay would deny you in that sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, this is a market where you're competing against multiple people. They've seen the property at the same hour and the same minute that you saw it. But again, we have so much more to share regarding this particular topic.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for tuning in with us today. I'm Andrea Farley. Thank you so much, Judge Parker, for joining us with TAP Real Estate School. This show is sponsored by TAP Real Estate School, so we appreciate you so much for that. If you guys are interested or know anyone that is wanting to get their real estate license, TAP Real Estate School is in Fayetteville, Georgia. The classes are virtual. At this time, because of the pandemic, but you will get A1 training at this particular school. And so you can contact Judge Parker for more information regarding that. Guys, if you have questions, you can reach me at 404-965-5041. Email me at afarleyrealtor@gmail.com. If you want to see more videos, go to YouTube, Dream Real Estate. And, of course, on Facebook is Your Real Estate Tea. If you would like to donate to this show, the Cash App is $DREADAY511. And so, guys, thank you again, Judge Parker.
Thank you for
What's your
having me.
information for the school?
The school information is tapacademyatl.com is our web address. You'll find all information on that website. It gives you all of the school schedule, things of that nature, how to register, a whole 9 yards. You can do everything there from the website. And it also has our number on there, so if you want to reach out to us, or you can send us an email via the website as well, and we'll be able to answer any questions that may come about.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, health is wealth, and so is real estate. Have a blessed day.
1061. Conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.